I'm going to pick some books from my shelves that I have to read in 2024 or unhaul. I did a version of this for 2023 where I picked 23 books I had to read from my shelves or unhaul. I have gotten through all of them. Some of them I went to pick up and I was like, I don't want to read this anymore, so I just unhauled them. Others I actually did read. It was a pretty even split between ones that I ended up just unhauling and ones I read. I will say I didn't have any 5-star reads from the ones I did read either, so that didn't go very well in terms of like me finding new favorites that I was just putting off. I keep going back and forth between doing 12 books so that I have one a month, or doing 24 and just committing to it. I also haven't picked the books yet. I'm going to go through my shelves with you. I truly don't remember how many books I own that I have not read, but it is this shelf, this shelf, this shelf, and then this one down here. I also have my shelves separated, so the top 2 shelves are books that I owned before going into 2023, and the bottom 2 are ones that I got in 2023. So half of my list is going to come from my top 2 shelves and the other half is going to come from the bottom 2. This list kind of helps me get through things that I have been putting off for a really long time. I also put ones on there that I thought I would really enjoy. So I didn't put 23 books last year that I thought I would hate and then didn't like any of them. I had ones that I really thought I would like on the list, but I just got really unlucky. So fingers crossed this year goes a lot better. When I started filming, I was like, I'm just gonna do 12, but I think I've committed to 24 now. So let's pick some books. This is odd angle from me, so just ignore that. But here are my top 2 shelves. I don't have a game plan for how I'm going to pick books. Okay, I'm gonna be so chaotic, and I'm going to start with the longest book on my TBR. This is one that I'm going to put off forever if I don't put it on this list. So that's our first pick. To counteract that, I am going to go with the shortest book on these 2 shelves. Then I'm going to do Silence of the Lambs because this is the book that I've had for the longest. 3. I want to get to this one because it is a sequel and it finishes this duology. I'm going to put The Office BFFs. This is a nonfiction, and I don't think I want to leave something like this on my shelves for too long. More things out of my comfort zone. I only have 1 romance on these 2. So I'm going to add that. That's half. The one I think I'm most excited for is Bad Man by Dathan Auerbach. This is the author of Pen Pal. And the opposite of that would be, I guess, the one I'm least excited for, Born by Jeff Vandermeer. I have disliked from this author before. I owned 2 books and didn't like the one, so this one, I just keep keeping it for some reason. So 2024 is the year for that. Okay, 4 more. I'm gonna go with The Woman Could Fly. This is one that I really want to get to. The Wicked Deep by Shay Earnshaw. I have liked and disliked from this author before. I have a video plan for this. This is one of the few short story collections I own, so I can slowly read this throughout the year. And I'm going to go with The Chain by Adrienne McKinty for the last one. This is one that I've been putting off because I'm not sure if I'm going to like it, so this is giving me the push. You really can't see these 2 shelves, but I will have a TBR shelf update coming. And I'm debating doing a project with my TBR next year, so I'll talk about that more in that video if I decide to do it, but you'll be able to see everything I own in that video. So the books I bought in 2023, I have 2 books that I'm starting with, and I picked both of them because I have 2 books by each author on my shelves, and I don't want to be doing that anymore. I want to only have 1 unread book from an author. So I have 6 Rooms by Gemma Amor and The Haunting of Blackwood House by Darcy Coates. Sallow Ben by Alan Baxter. I want to finally start reading my books from Twisted Retreat. Desert Creatures by Kay Chronister. This is the oldest book from Aardvark Book Club that I own. The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. This is kind of out of my comfort zone and I need a push to get to it. Warrior Girl Unearthed by Angeline Bully. This is the oldest book of the month book I own, I believe. One to Watch doesn't count. I didn't buy it from Book of the Month. And same with the one up here. How to Survive a Murder by Danielle Valentine. This has a sequel coming out next year. She has another adult book coming out, so I don't want to have too many books of hers on my TBR. Jack and Jill by Keelan Patrick Burke. This will be the last one of his that I own. I think I have 3 or 4 at this point. I read 3 of them in 2023, so I want to get to the final one that I have. The Exorcist by William Peter Blatty. This is one that I know I'm going to put off if I don't read it soon. Little Secrets by Jennifer Hillier. I've read a few from Jennifer Hillier and really enjoyed them, so I wanted to put this one on. I'm really anticipating it. The Changeling by Victor Laval. I met him at an event this year. I've enjoyed the books that I've read from him, and I've heard really good things about this one. And last is Antioch by Jessica Leonard. This is published by Max Booth III's publishing press. And I got this because she was at an event that I went to. I love short books, and it sounds super interesting. So here is everything. I made my list from Here over is books I owned before 2023, and these 12 are ones that I got in 2023. So I have a nonfiction, YA fantasy, a horror short story collection, a thriller, I think maybe a sci-fi horror, sci-fi, horror, romance, sci-fi. This is the second in a series. Horror. I do need to look into the reading order of this because I don't think this is the first one, but I think people can read it without it. I'm not really sure. Sci-fi, and I think this is sci-fi horror. So I have a good mix in this half. So then over here I have horror, fantasy horror, I believe, thriller, horror. This is Jack and Jill. This is horror. This is a YA thriller. This is also YA. I'm not sure what genre this is. Maybe a thriller like the other one. This is sci-fi. This is sci-fi horror. This is horror, horror, and horror. So I feel like I still have a pretty good mix in all of these. I have some fantasy stuff, some sci-fi, but I feel like not as much as over here. So I have The Office BFFs by Jenna Fisher and Angela Kinsey, The Wicked Deep by Shay Earnshaw, Dark Cities, edited by Christopher Golden, The Chain by Adrian McKinty, The Women Could Fly by Megan Giddings, Born by Jeff Vandermeer, Bad Man by Dathan Auerbach, One to Watch by Kate Stayman London, Outside In by Maria Lee Snyder, The Silence of the Lambs by Thomas Harris, Rosebud by Paul Cornell, Under the Dome by Stephen King, hello little ghosty, The Changeling by Victor LaValle, Little Secrets by Jennifer Hillier, The Exorcist by William Peter Blatty, Jack and Jill by Kaylin Patrick Burke, How to Survive Your Murder by Danielle Valentine, Warrior Girl Unearthed by Angeline Bully, The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers, Desert Creatures by Kay Chronister, Sallow Bend by Alan Baxter, The Hunting of Blackwood House by Darcy Coates, Six Rooms by Gemma Amore, and Antioch by Jessica Leonard. I hope you enjoyed this list. I hope you know that I chose violence for myself by making this 24 instead of 12 like I was planning. If you've read any of these books, I would love to know your thoughts on them. Also, let me know in the comments if you have any books from your shelves that you are prioritizing in 2024. If you have made it to the end and want to leave me an emoji to say you were here, you can leave me a house emoji. If you're looking to find me in other places on the internet, everything is linked in the description, including my Bookstagram, my Storygraph, and my Patreon. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I hope to see you in my next one. Bye.